Hey guys, it's me, Coral. I'm coming at you from a weird angle with weird lighting. Anyway, so it's nighttime, I'm here. I have glare, I have a different angle. I'm sitting down because my husband bought me a fucking awesome chair for my little book area over here for Mother's Day. It's not Mother's Day today. It's the 10th, it's Friday. It's Mexican Mother's Day. I got my Mother's Day gift early. It's perfect. I've been looking for a really nice mid-century modern chair and ottoman to go in here. And for years, I've been waiting for the right one, and he finally got me something. So I'm really excited about that. I get super chatty Cathy want a drink. I was telling my husband Zach about this, and he said, oh, so you're making an hour-and-a-half long video? Like, oh, shut up. But actually, that's how it's turning out to be. Okay, so the drunk book tag. This is just right up my alley. I'm drinking Tecate, which is a Mexican beer, and I put tahini on the rim to get like a salty, spicy taste with your beer. It's delicious. Okay, so question 1. You're 16 and you finally managed to sneak one of your mom's Smirnoff Ices. What is one of your most guilty pleasure reads? If you follow me on social media, you've probably heard me say this before, but I still fucking love VC Andrews. And like, these are the most strange, like every one of them has like an incestual, inappropriate, taboo relationship. But I picked this one specifically, Heaven, because this is my favorite series of hers. And man, this one was nuts. I love this book. I loved this series so much. It's definitely a guilty pleasure because it's just like really trashy. Like I said, about bad relationships. There's a lot of like, in her writing. I've been reading the Dollenganger series, which is the first one that she did. And there's a lot of like, microaggressions and just like, I should be meek and quiet because that's what men want kind of stuff. So definitely guilty. It's probably the only thing I feel guilty about reading because they're just like so inappropriate and bad. Number 2, beer. My drink of choice. You've made it to college and are hosting your first kegger. Pick your favorite new adult or college-aged book. I did not have anything for this. I don't think I have anything really that could be considered new adult. And I'm not even sure what college-aged means. Like, that the characters would be college-aged? But that doesn't make sense to me, really. I know what new adult is. I just don't think I have anything. I think the closest thing I have is a book that I wanted to use for a different question here. So I'm just going to skip this one. I don't own any new adult books. Number 3, tequila. You partied too hard last night and drank a little too much Jose Cuervo. Also the story of my life. I cannot drink Patron anymore because it's a long story. What's a book you never want to see again? Oh, I have the perfect one for this. Except for that I keep it on my shelf so I see it all the time. And I keep it on my shelf so I can see it so I can give it dirty looks. Dirty side-eye. And that is 100 Years of Solitude by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. I don't fucking understand why people like this book so much. I picked this up because it's when I first met my husband, and I've always liked reading, and he's like, oh yeah, my sister reads a lot. She really likes this book. And so he's like, yeah, and I'll get in good with his sister, and I'll read something that I like. And I did not like this book. And I just did not like it. It took me so long to read. I trudged through it. This is before I like adopted the stance that if you don't like a book, like, don't fucking read it, because there's way too many good books out there, or I guess books that you will like. So I struggled through this. I can't even really tell you exactly what it's about, besides that it's like a giant family saga. There's like a lot of probably what would be considered magical realism. There's like ghosts. I don't know. It's very strange. It was kind of hard to follow at times because it spans such a long time. The timeline is kind of, it seemed weird to me. A lot of the family members had very similar names because they like had familial names, you know? They were named after their ancestors, which was confusing because some of these ancestors they talked about in this book, and then also like they were the ghosts of ancestors at some point, so it was like, who the fuck are they talking about? I know some people really appreciate this book. I don't know, I couldn't get it. And like, it's very possible that if I reread it now at this point in my life, maybe I would understand it more, but I just like don't want to take the time out to see. So it just sits on my shelf and I glance at it from now and then like this from the side of my face. Okay, number 4 is Beer Bong. What's a book you read super fast? I could go easier with this and like give you a novella because those are just faster to read in general, but I decided to pick a full-length novel that I read recently, My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix. Man, I read like the first 60 pages at one point. Like, I don't know, I don't even think it was in one sitting, maybe in like one day overall. And then the next day I sat down and I finished the whole rest of it. It was like, I read like 200 and something pages, which I don't usually do. Okay, number 5 is Spring Break. You've thrown your inhibitions to the wind and end up having a sexy night you'll never forget. Oh, I don't know if that's good or bad. What is your favorite smutty read? Okay, so I don't very often read things that are just like straight up smutty. Just cause like, I don't know, I don't seek out romance novels really, which I feel like are the things that have the most, you're most likely to encounter smut in that. I'm not saying that smut is bad because I definitely do like spicy parts in books. I think my favorite smutty, what am I trying to say? The answer for this is A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. This is the one I was thinking about when the new adult question came up, because I think this is like the only thing that I have. I think this is marketed as young adult, but it really should be new adult because it gets spicy in here and it gets steamy, and there are a lot of sex scenes that are not like super graphic, but the author uses a lot of like innuendos and euphemisms. Like, it's funny. This is definitely smutty. This is something where I like felt my cheeks get flushed reading it. And I really liked it. I really liked this series. The first one also had some smut in it, but this one was, it like turned that up to 11. Okay, number 6, Screwdriver. What's the most twisted book you've ever read? And I knew immediately which one I would pick for this. Tampa, obviously, by Alissa Nutting. Holy shit. This is the most twisted book I've ever read by far. And I think some runners up for that would be You by Carolyn Kepnes and also Perfect Days by Rafael Montez, because they follow this same, I don't know, viewpoint, because they are told by the antagonist, and they're told in such a way where like you almost want to root for the antagonist even though they are doing something horribly, despicably wrong. And I think out of those 3 books, I think Tampa really is the most twisted of those because it deals with teenagers. It deals with children. Really great book. Definitely not for most people, I'd say, but a good one nonetheless. Okay, number 7 is Long Island Iced Tea. The melting pot of alcoholic beverages. What is one of your favorite diverse reads? And really, like, this question's kind of weird because I feel like this is geared towards people who are not minorities, because to me, a person who is white and cis and straight, that's like any book with a person of color, or like any book where they're not straight, or if they're trans. So like, I don't know. That could be lots of books because I've got it pretty easy when it comes to that. So I guess, I don't know. And honestly, like, reading a lot of horror, there isn't a ton of that. Like, I don't feel like authors go out of their way to write characters like that like they do in YA, and specifically YA contemporary, which I don't read a ton of. Anyways, what I picked for this, such a great book. The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. This is well hyped and it deserves it. This is kind of just about the Black Lives Matter movement. This is about a girl named Star. She's in the car with one of her best friends. They get pulled over and her friend gets shot and killed for no reason. And it's kind of the fallout after that. It's a really great book. This is another one that I read so quickly. It was absorbing and so sad and hopeful, and also like kind of gave you a feeling of dread. This is so well written, and it definitely made me think twice about skipping over other contemporary books that I might not pick up. Okay, Sex on the Beach. A drink that's great in theory, but wasn't exactly all it was cracked up to be. What is a book that just didn't live up to the hype? And I have one for this that, like, people might be upset about because so many people like it. And some people get really defensive when books that they love aren't loved by others. But what I picked for this, hold on to your butts, Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. I read the Grisha trilogy and I thought it was just okay. Like, I read them and I was like, this isn't bad, but I didn't think it was very special, and I didn't think a lot of the characters were very special. But then everyone's like, Six of Crows, so good, so good, so good. Read the Grisha trilogy first before you go to Six of Crows. So like, I did that, and I was like, okay, this is fine. People are like, Six of Crows is better. So I read Six of Crows, and I didn't like it even as much as I liked the Grisha trilogy. So like, didn't really like it. I thought it was too long. I felt, I don't know. I don't want to get too into it because I don't want people to come after me with their pitchforks, but I just thought it was kind of boring. And I have whatever the one after this is, Cricket Kingdom, and I don't know if I'll ever read it because I am just completely uninterested in what happened to these characters. I'm kind of uninterested in them. Like, I just didn't really care about them. Number 9. You've just gone through a rough breakup, so you park yourself in bed with your favorite bottle of wine, some ice cream, and a bucket for your tears. Name a book that made you cry out all your feels. I don't really have feels. My best friend's Exorcism made me kind of choke up a little bit at the end, but it's been a long, long time since I actually cried reading a book. I don't know, I can't really think of any that made me cry, except for me being probably 11 years old, reading this book in my room on the floor, and I got to a part where one of the characters died. He was a very problematic character. The relationship he was in with the main character was completely awful, It was very financially and emotionally abusive. And he died. And I was so fucking upset about it. It was in Petals of the Wind by VC Andrews. Like I said, super problematic relationships over and over again. Like, this is why they're my guilty pleasure, because no one should have been dating this guy. He had a lot of personal issues to work out, and he took it out on the main character. It was so problematic, like I said. Like, I hope to God my daughter does not grow up and think stuff like that is normal, because it's not good and it's not normal. But I bawled when he died. I was so upset. I sobbed. And I was like, but they are gonna work it out and it'll be okay. And it's like, but he's not really dead, right? And then he was dead, and I was so upset. Oh my God. I'm so mad. Okay. Number 10 is The Sexiest Naked Book. When I took off the cover of the hardcover of The Diviners, I was in absolute awe, because look at this shit. It is so pretty. It has this nice gold, I don't know. It's just a beautiful book. Super gorgeous. What does it look like when I go like this? Can I open it like this without ruining it? Ooh, fancy. Super cool. Very Gilded Age-y. Okay, well, that's all I have for you. This video was not an hour and a half long, Zach, but it was pretty long. I am sorry. I talk too much normally, so like, what did you expect here? That's all I have for you. Please don't come after me for not liking Six of Crows. I just didn't fucking like it. And you can't change my mind about it. And I'm glad that you liked it, if you liked it. Because why would I be upset that you enjoyed something? Don't be upset that I didn't enjoy something. Anyways, nobody's ever gonna say anything to me about that. I'll just get like thumbs downs on my videos, which is hilarious, because when that happens, I know exactly fucking why. That's enough. I have spilled my tea. I have not spilled my beer, which is good, because sometimes I do that. Anyways, thanks so much for watching, everybody. I have a video coming at you soon after this. Follow me. I have some links down to some of my book-related social media in the comments. Follow me on there if you would like to hear more from me. Why would you want to do that? Goodbye. Have a great night. Try a Mexican beer. I would suggest Sol or Modelo. Those are probably my favorite. Tecate is kind of cheap and bitter, but that's what was in my fridge. Make sure to put some tahini on the rim. Whatever you do. Maybe a little bit of lime, if I'm going to be bossy about it. Anyways, I will see you later, alligators.